Here's that very brief but all-important safety tips. Number one, don't fly in high winds or bad weather. Basically, 22 miles an hour is kind of like, once it's at that, do not fly, because you're not going to be very successful. It's a very, very light drone. Your drone's probably not going to fly, but it also gives you a chance to damage your drone, and you're not going to get very sharp video or smooth video either.
And even in moderate winds, you're going to spend more of your time fighting the wind, wasting battery, than getting the shots and video you really want. So it's best not to take it up in any bad weather. And most importantly, not just wind, it's not waterproof. Don't take it up in the rain, the snow, because once water starts getting into it, then it's going to be pretty much toast.
Yeah, but you don't want that to happen while it's flying. There's also a free app called Kitty Hawk, and it is available for the iPhone or for the Android devices, that gives you flying conditions, and it really is designed for drone operators.
Or, no, that doesn't really work up there. So
yeah, because it can be,
it's not reliable.
It can be fairly
nice down
calm
here,
down
but
here.
Yeah,
100 feet
there.
up in the air can be very, very windy. That's why some people that are serious about protecting their drones will actually buy a handheld wind meter, so they can actually get an idea of what the winds are aloft. You can find them. They're very small, handheld. They fit right in your bag. You can find those at Amazon. All right. Avoid at all costs flying over people.
Yes.
If your drone just stops, and it's unlikely that your drone is just going to stop and fall out of the sky, very, very unlikely. But if it happens, do you want to bet your life on it or someone else's life on it? When you fly over people, you wind up, you're putting yourself and them at risk. So the basic rule is don't fly over people. Also, don't forget not to stand directly over the copter when you turn it on, because if the copter were to lift off unexpectedly, it normally won't, but if it did, you're standing right above it and it'll fly into you.
Yeah, these blades are going around at a very high velocity, and while they're made out of a fairly thin material, they will cut.
Yeah, so you don't want to really have it fly into your face. The next thing is, you don't really want to land your Mavic Pro in the grass. Number one, it can tip over. You want to avoid tip overs. But the problem is, if you take a look at this, you'll see that there's not really landing legs. It really kind of lands on its belly.
Of all the DJI drones that they make, this is the one that has the lowest profile, sits lowest to the ground.
You're actually going to need to land on a very, very flat surface, unless the grass is like putting green short, because it's really, really got to be that way. And so you don't want to land on gravel, and you don't want to land on thick grass or anything like that. Now, what you can do, and you'll see this out here as we're on location, you can buy a number of different landing pads like the one that we have right here.
This one, I believe, is by the good folks over at Rogue. It's called the Flat Hat. And that gives you a nice surface to not only land on, but visually see. So if you are surrounded by grass and you have no choice, or gravel or something something that's too tall for the blades, just put this down first on the ground. It even comes with little spikes. So you can actually spike it down into the soft dirt, and that way it won't blow away, and now you have a nice spot to take off and land from.
All right, this is another safety tip. I'm going to make it a quick one, but it's an important one. When you're flying on your phone, set your phone to airplane mode. That way you don't get any notifications, or worse, calls on screen while you're flying. You might be doing an intricate maneuver and all of a sudden you get a phone call. Well, the phone call takes over your whole screen while you're flying. Put your phone in airplane mode. If you have an iPhone, you can use Do Not Disturb, but if you put your phone in either Do Not Disturb or airplane mode, don't have to worry about that.
Right. Highly recommend it.
But the main thing to do is anytime that you're flying is not to panic.
That's the cause of most crashes. People freak out and then do something crazy with the controller, and off it goes, or into something, or down it goes.
Right. Remember that you can always fly up to avoid any issue. If something funky happens, don't try to land it immediately. You might want to fly up and just kind of relax, or you can take your hands off the controllers.
Yeah, just thumbs off. Because these are designed to, when you're not doing anything, to just hover in place. So unlike an airplane where it is flying until you change direction, this is only flying when you're using the controller. If you stop using the controller, it's going to stop right where it is and just sit there.
And just hover.
Right, it'll just hover. So when I lose orientation or I'm not sure, thumbs off. Then I figure it out and then go back and start controlling.
Absolutely. Also, your controller gives you a feedback warning. If the controller physically shakes, like you know how you're playing a game, if you have like an Xbox controller or something, it will literally buzz or shake. That's the software trying to get your attention and saying, heads up, you need to look at what's going on screen. And in many cases, it will tell you exactly what the problem is if it's seeing an obstacle or there's another problem. So be aware of that feel. So it does give you a kind of a tactile feel.
Yeah, to get your attention.
To get your attention, that's what it's for. Okay, that's our basic safety stuff. Of course, just in general, you want to operate a drone in a safe manner, because if you don't, it'll get you in trouble. It gets the whole drone flying industry in trouble. It's just not a good thing, and the last thing we want is unsafe operators or pilots. So keep all that in mind and you'll have a safe time.